What's up people, King James here and you're welcome to today's video. And today I'm going to be talking about giving people back the same energy. Is it really worth it? Does it really work? And what does it actually accomplish? And in today's video I'm going to be highlighting 3 very important things to consider before you adopt this kind of mindset. So if you're watching this video and you've been contemplating doing somebody back for something that they did to you, make sure you watch this video to the end before you make your decision. I want to start this video by making it very clear that this idea of giving people back the same energy or aura for aura is not a new concept, it's not a new idea. It's an idea that people have wrestled with for centuries. It's a similar idea to an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth, so it's not new. And one of the things that I find that people don't understand is this kind of mentality will turn you into the very thing that you hate. You will become someone that does the things that you criticize. You will become the very person that you criticize. And yeah, I know it's very easy for us to think that no, I'm only doing it this one time, or I'm only doing it in this context, so I'm only bad to bad people, I'm only wicked to wicked people. But the thing is, you have become a wicked person. And this idea that you are only going to ever do it in this context is not true. I'll give you an example. I went to a boarding school, and if you went to a boarding school, you know that boarding school life was difficult. It was hard. Boarding school was cruel. So I went to boarding school, and in my school, people used to steal like crazy. We were thieves. Well, this is even prior to me becoming a thief. You would keep your things in your locker, your uniform, your socks, your provisions, go for afternoon prep, come back, it's gone. And people didn't just used to steal. We were very cruel in the way we used to steal. Like if you had Gary, for example, in your locker, they would steal your Gary, use your cup and your cutlery to soak it, and then they will leave the cup and cutlery in your locker. So yes, we ate your Gary with your cup. Now you can go and rinse your cup and cutlery. So I remember after experiencing stuff like this for months, I remember one day I sat down on my bed and I justified stealing in my heart. Like I literally sat on my bed and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start stealing. And this is why. If I just sit back and watch things happen like this, how am I going to survive? And I mean, somebody would listen to this now and think, yeah, that's rational. That's wisdom. You're in a place where people are stealing. If they steal all your stuff, you have no stuff left. So steal. And that was very simply put how I justified stealing in my heart. And from then, I became a thief. I became a good one. Eventually, I graduated from stealing out of necessity to stealing for convenience. So Valentine's Day came. I had a girlfriend then in school that I liked, and I didn't have money. So what did I do? I mean, this new habit that I've picked up, might as well. I stole money from one of my guys and I was helping him to look for the money. Stole money from him to buy something for my girlfriend, and then I was helping him look for the money afterward. That's how good we got. It got so bad that when I would come back home for holidays, I'm no longer in school now, Abi. I don't need the skill anymore. This is no longer the context within which I needed this skill that I've developed. Got to a point that I would come back home for holidays and I could go to like a stores close to my house, and I see something that I want to eat, and I don't have money to buy it. And even if I do have money to buy it, why buy it? I can just take it. And in that moment, I'm thinking, let me just take this. Why am I thinking that? Am I not now out of the context within which I justified this behavior? It's because it doesn't work like that. Habits don't work like that. If you think that you're only going to curse out and swear at people that swear at you, you are joking. When you are upset because you have built up that habit, you that didn't have swear words in your vocabulary before and you decided to pick it up because people were swearing at you, you're not only going to swear at people that swear at you. When you're in another context and you're upset, you will swear at people. Why? Because you've picked up the habit. Thinking that you're going to confine this thing that you're picking up to that particular context is deception. It's a lie. It will eventually become who you are, and you will apply it in other contexts. And this thing applies to anything that you pick up, anything that you say, oh, I'm going to give this person back their energy. See, when you adopt that thing, it becomes who you are. If somebody cheats on you and you decide to cheat back, you have become someone that cheats. And in no way am I saying this to justify being cheated on. The same way I still think it was wrong that people were stealing my stuff. But the fact is, because I decided to give aura for aura, because I decided to an eye for an eye, if you steal from me, I'll steal from you, I became a thief. And it wasn't within just the confines of when they steal my stuff. And that's how it works. You eventually become someone that cheats. Second, you do it once, do it twice. Maybe you're in that relationship with this cheater for long, and then you really settle in that habit of lying about where you are. Because you just decided in this context, it's justified because he did it to me. So now you're picking up the habit of lying about where you are, lying about when you're coming over, lying about who you're with. You've picked up this habit, in a context that you justified. But don't worry, the habits are not going to leave when you have a faithful boyfriend. The habits are not going to leave when you get a faithful girlfriend. They are going to be there. And if they find an opportunity to find expression, they are not going to ask your permission. They are not going to ask your permission. It's a lie to think that you're going to confine it within the context you learned it. It doesn't work like that. Any context that it can find expression, it will find expression. The second thing I think is really important for people to consider is this. Evil doesn't change evil. And no, I'm not saying that you should make it your life's mission to change people. No, it's not. You can't change people. People have to want to change. My point is that it doesn't help the situation. It doesn't make the other person better. If anything, they are going to look for another way to get back at you. So it encourages the person to continue being who they are, and then it leaves you worse off. And I want to place a bit of emphasis on the fact that you will actually be worse off. And here's why. It's one thing to be a wicked person, maybe because of like your circumstances, because of how you grew up, because of trauma. There are people that grew up in toxic homes, and the only reason they are the way they are is because of the trauma that they experienced as children, for example. Now, there's a difference between that guy and you that knows the truth. You that is watching this video, and what I'm saying is resonating with you, but you decide to ignore the truth that you know and be a bad person and justify being bad. There's difference between that guy that is bad because of trauma and you that is choosing to be bad despite knowing the truth. Here's the difference. This guy that is doing all these things because of this traumatic experience, and those things are not justified, but this guy that is doing those things because of his traumatic experience can actually become a better person. One day it's possible that someone will articulate this truth to him in love, and he'll realize that, I'm actually being really cruel to people, and I think I now realize that I'm doing it because of this experience that I had, and that guy can decide to change. You, on the other hand, you have become wicked knowing the truth. Like, you know the truth that some people will hear and change, and you are wicked despite knowing that truth. You are worse off because your heart has become hardened. You're irresponsive. You're dead. You're like a dead body. The dead body just can't respond, and that's the danger of watching this video, it resonating with you, and you ignoring the fact that it's resonating with you. And I'm not saying listen to me. I'm saying listen to the truth. It doesn't matter who is saying it. If it's the truth, just listen. Because if you don't, you become someone that's irresponsive to the truth. So the truth isn't going to set you free in this point. Not because it can't, but because your heart has become hardened. And you don't want to be that guy. I promise you. The third point I want to make is this. A lot of times we are in these aura for aura situations because of bad decisions. For example, because we choose terrible company. Some of the people that are listening to this video now, the person that has done you dirty is someone that you will call your friend. So you are actually in this situation because you're associating with the wrong company. You shouldn't have people like that as friends. You should have people that are influencing you positively as your friends. And I know that there are contexts where this is not the case, but a lot of people are in contexts that they put themselves in. A lot of people are doing this aura for aura thing with people that you have allowed to be in your life. That's a completely different situation. You're not suffering because of kindness. You're not suffering because you're a good person. You're suffering because of a lack of wisdom. Some of you have entered into relationships with people that are supposed to be prayer points. People that you're supposed to be praying for. There shouldn't be any love interest with this person. No, but you decided to. My pastor will say you are using red flag to sue Ashwebi. For people that are in situations where they didn't put themselves in this situation, you were born into the family and it's not the best family, and you're being treated poorly, or if it's your boss or something like that. For people that are in situations like that, I want to encourage you. Being kind is not the reason why you are going through what you're going through. And like I said before, honestly, being evil isn't going to make it better. What I will say is that there are certain wisdoms that you're going to need to adopt so that you can protect yourself in that situation, at least for the time being that you are in that situation. Wisdoms that will protect your peace, protect your mind, for the time that you are in that situation, because I don't believe that any of those kind of situations must last forever. If it's family, moving out, establishing yourself in your independence, if it's an office, if it's a job, finding a new job and not thinking that there isn't anything for you outside the four walls of that office, not true. You can get another job. And I know there are a lot more scenarios that people can be in where they are being treated badly, and they need wisdom on how to get out of it. If that's the case, you can leave a message in the comment section and we'll have a conversation, about things that you could do to get out of that particular situation. But what I'm saying is this: don't allow those situations to change who you are. Becoming the thing that you hate is never the solution. It just isn't. Brings me to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share the video with your friends. You guys can talk about it. And again, if you're going through something that you need, wisdom, clarity on, leave a comment in the comment section, and this community will try and help as much as we can. I will respond to as many comments as I can. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.